Yeah, that's one of the worst ones right there.
I got 80 Botox injections in one hand to stop it from sweating. Here's what happened. Many people know about Botox for getting rid of wrinkles, but some people use it to stop their excessive sweating. 8 years ago, I co-founded Carpe to create a different kind of antiperspirant for sweaty hands.
And in a UNC dorm room, they concocted the first FDA-compliant antiperspirant hand lotion on the market.
Thanks to that, I was able to stop my sweating without Botox. But I still remain curious about what Botox actually feels like. That's why when my friend Dr. Bhatia offered to inject me in one of my hands, I simply couldn't refuse. I booked the soonest trip I could to visit Dr. Bhatia's clinic in Chicago to learn more about Botox and to finally give it a try for myself. We are here in a rental car driving from Chicago O'Hare to Naperville, Illinois. Dr. Bhatia, Carpe's chief medical advisor, is gonna give me Botox injections in my left hand so we can see what it's like, so we can see how effective it is and how it compares to my right hand, which is not gonna get Botox injections. I guess I'm a little nervous to see what it feels like. I've heard from a lot of people that it's unbearably painful, the worst torture they've ever experienced, quote unquote. I'm really excited. I'm a little bit nervous to go to Dr. Bhatia's office here and get this injection, so let's do it.
I lied.
Dr. Bhatia, it's so good to see you.
Great to see you guys. Nice to meet you, I'm Kyle.
After arriving at his office and getting a quick tour, Dr. Bhatia explained a little more on what this procedure is all about.
Botox, right? It's an injection, and Botox is a brand name, but you know, this botulinum toxin A, and that's the actual compound that we're using, and what it does is it actually blocks the release of a neurotransmitter that sends a signal from your nerves that activate the sweat glands, and it blocks that signal from going to the sweat gland. Same way it blocks the signal from going to muscles, and that's why we use it to relax muscles and get rid of lines and wrinkles, right?
Before getting started, I first sat down for something called a Starch-Iodine Test.
We use a little test called the Starch-Iodine Test. Okay. And what that consists of is actually applying iodine to the hand, letting it dry, and then we sprinkle some cornstarch on top of it. So real simple. And whenever there's moisture in the area, the two compounds actually react and you get darkening. And so you can clearly see where the sweat is coming out. So that helps us target the injections and then, you know, see if you're getting improvement or not, or if there's hot spots later where we can go back and do a little more injection.
To get ready for this, I hadn't used Carpe in a while, but my hands still weren't as sweaty as I wanted, so I actually pulled up some stressful YouTube videos in an attempt to really get my hands as sweaty as possible. And with that, it was time to load up the needles and get ready for my first injection.
All right, so let's get started. So we have it drawn up, it's diluted, and we're just going to be injecting really about one unit or so per area. It depends on the person. I'll use between 50 to 100 units per hand.
Let's go full pain mode. Here we go.
Full pain mode. So you'll check out, see how sensitive this is. So let's start down here.
Okay.
So you ready? A little poke here. 1, 2, 3. Poke. So, and then it just goes in real easy here, and I just put in one unit. How was it?
That's what it's like.
Not too bad.
No. Is it
Tolerable?
Yeah, I almost feel like a slight numbness there.
Fortunately, we use a very tiny needle. So you do feel it though, right? Because one of the most sensitive areas in your body is your fingertips, right?
Exactly. Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, that should be the worst, right? That should be the most sensitive area. Even though we do have to inject there, we have a whole bunch of pain mitigation techniques to make it a lot more comfortable. And so, most people actually tolerate it really, really well. We'll just start with straight up injections, and then you can see how that feels. The second thing, which I do for almost any injection, is just actually wiggling the area with my finger or pinching the area. You can actually decrease the amount of pain that's actually going through those nerves, or your perception of the pain going through the nerves. The other thing we can use is really like a little vibrator, so a little vibratory device to take that to the next level. There's some that are like metal and fancy, specifically made for medical applications.
Okay.
But you really don't have to. You can use pretty much anything that vibrates, right? So, and what we usually do is just put them in like a rubber glove, and then we're ready to go. You turn it on and let me know what you think.
How was it? I didn't feel any pain. I felt the needle going in, but I didn't feel any pain.
And then the two methods we use a lot in the clinic are ice or forced cold air. It starts working in about 4 to 5 days and is optimally working in 2 weeks. it turns out even though it blocks that release of neurotransmitter permanently, the body recognizes this and just builds a new nerve ending. And so those nerve endings regenerate at different rates in different areas of the body. And so when we use it for lines and wrinkles on the face, it regenerates quite quickly. So it usually lasts about 3 months. But in the armpits or in the palms, the regeneration is a little slower, so you get more like 5 to 6 months of efficacy. I would say the majority of people we do injections for axillary, and then number 2 is the palms. We used to do quite a few people on the soles of the feet, but I see less and less of that because I think some of the topicals have become more effective.
Yeah.
It's also very painful at the bottom of the foot. Yeah, I would say that's probably the more painful area. Axillary is very easy. In fact, I get my axilla done every 6 months. Yeah, so Botox is obviously not the first thing we bring up when we talk about hyperhidrosis, right? So if somebody comes in with hyperhidrosis, usually we talk to them about first just doing over-the-counter products like Carpe, right?
Carpe.
Right. So very, very easy, very simple. Something that's easily accessible and affordable. If for some reason that's not enough or they need more, then we go on to the other lines of treatment, right? To get both of your hands done usually, or both axilla done, the cost can range anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500 per every 6 months. So yep. So people are paying $2,500, $3,000 a year.
A normal Botox procedure for both hands usually only takes about 15 minutes.
Very tolerable, right?
Yeah, that's one of the worst ones right there.
Right there.
Oh yeah, that is a nice level of pain.
Yeah. We peaked right there.
I think we might have peaked right at the end.
I'll just fill in a little tiny bit between then here.
Okay.
We'll see.
So we ended up at 80 units, right?
Yeah. We're gonna end up at 80 units, which is pretty big dose. You got a big hand too. So.
Final question, because this is the question everybody asks about everything: is it bad for you?
Is it bad for you?
Is Botox in the hand bad for you?
It's probably one of the safest things we do.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's a well-studied medication. We know exactly how it works. We know the side effects, and really most of the side effects are local.
Wow. So after 80 Botox injections, we said our goodbyes to Dr. Bhatia and headed home. But as expected, my hand wasn't dry yet. So over the next few days, I conducted my own Starch-Iodine tests to keep track of the progress. And by day 5, my hand was showing almost no signs of sweating. A couple days later, and there was actually nothing.
Well, here we are, 2 weeks in, and I just did a Starch-Iodine test on both hands. Not the sweatiest I've seen my right hand, but it's definitely lightened up. There's some tiny patches of darkness, just very small ones. Right here between the fingers where Dr. Bhatia was saying the skin's a little thick, so maybe the Botox didn't spread as much. But basically everywhere else, completely dry, no sweat on this hand, while this hand is just exploding with sweat. So yeah, there we go. Right hand, all the darkness is where the sweat's been happening, and then compare it to that, night and day. So that's what it's like to get 80 shots of Botox in one hand. It's absurdly expensive. But in my case, there really wasn't any pain, there haven't been any side effects or any muscle weakness, and my left hand has basically stopped sweating completely. So it took 5 days for the sweat to stop, and we don't know when it's gonna come back. When that happens, we're gonna make another video about it. But until then, if you have any other questions, ask them in the comments and I'll be thrilled to answer them. Till next time, stay dry.